Alright, hey guys, welcome back to the video, and today let's talk about companions. So I see a lot of stuff out there about companions. There's a lot of outdated stuff about companions. There's a lot of, guys saying what the best companions are for this and that. While they're right to a sense, I'm going to kind of give you guys kind of like an explanation of how companions work in Bannerlord and kind of what to expect, because it's not just a cut and dry how can I say this? It's not a cut and dry system. There's more to it than just, this equals that and this equals that, if that kind of makes sense, okay? Let's explain, all right? So first, if you didn't know, companions are obviously pretty much soldiers that you can recruit, and they are better than troops, and they can, you can give them armor, you can upgrade their skills, same as your main companion, all that. They're pretty much an extension to your main character, and you can also turn them into, into their own clans later on for a hefty price, but it does help you out if you want to grow your kingdom. Now, companions, they spawn over time, so if you do not see one that I mentioned in this video, or one that you are looking for, you're just going to have to wait, and eventually they will visit Calradia and be available at one of the taverns in one of the towns. So over time, they will continuously keep spawning. So do not worry. The companions that start off on day one, whenever you start a new game, there's going to be always more just populating the world as time goes on. Now, while companions, they have a surname, and the surname, as in the last name, that kind of gives away what they excel at. You have to understand one thing. All companions, and this has changed over time, they spawn with random stats, okay? There is no one surname that will give you exactly what I tell you it gives it on my game, for example. So, for example, let's say one playthrough, you might start and you might find an amazing surgeon. And obviously, if a person's called a surgeon, you expect them to have good medicine skill. So you might find one that has great medicine skill, great steward skill, and also amazing fighting skills. And then the next surgeon you find, if you're looking for another surgeon, he might only have 50 medicine and only 43 in one-handed. Again, they're random. Yes, they both have medicine, but one is exceptionally good and one is not that great. And even on the very rare side, you might find one with barely any medicine at all. He might have 15 medicine but still be called a surgeon. It happens. It's rare, but it happens. Because the surname is not the only thing that a companion is based upon. Their culture goes into effect, the traits they have, how old they are, how long they've been inside the tavern just waiting to be recruited. There's many things that pretty much affect what the outcome of stats will be for that companion. But the surname gives you a little bit of a hint, okay? So in this guide, I'm going to try to give you a good idea on what surnames you should look out for when you're looking for a specific skill. I'm going to give you a couple examples for each skill, so if one doesn't match up, you can still try the others and therefore still find exactly what you're looking for. But every single time you start a new game, every new companion that joins as the game goes on, the skills are randomized. That's just how it goes. There's no one type of surname that gives you the exact same amount of skill points every single time, okay? So after that, the skills that get randomized the most are all the vigor and control skills. The one-handed, two-handed, polearm, bow, crossbow, and throwing, those get randomized a lot. Sometimes I'm going to mention some fighters a little bit later on. Sometimes some of the fighters I mentioned, they're going to come out as absolute beasts. They'll have over 150 in each skill, and sometimes they won't even crack 100. That's just the name of the game. It is random. And also, riding and athletics goes with that as well. It is randomized. Sometimes you might find the same surname. Let's say two fighters, both with the Swordsman. Like they're both, one might be called Ivan the Swordsman, and one might be called Ivan II the Swordsman. All right, go with that. And one might have exceptional riding skill, and one might have exceptional athletic skill. Again, random. Now, also, sometimes companions will spawn with multiple good skills. And by good skills, I mean like the ones that aren't extremely randomized. So, not the vigor skills, not the control skills, and not riding or athletics. Like you might find somebody who has charm, leadership, trade, and steward. That's very rare, but you might find a companion like that. And that's a companion that I suggest you get your hands on as soon as possible. If you see they have multiple different high-level skills like that, get them as soon as possible. They're very rare. And also, new companion surnames are added periodically by the devs. So, to pretty much spice up gameplay, give you a little bit more of a choice. So, if a couple patches pass, a couple months pass, whenever you see this video, there might be even more companions to choose from with different names. So, just be on the lookout for that. But I'll probably make another video to update you. So now let's go over all the other skills that are in my opinion the least randomized, right? So not the vigor or control skills, not riding or athletics, starting with smithing and just going from top to bottom on the skill table that you have in the game. And again, the ones that I name, I'm going to name a couple for each skill. Sometimes they will spawn with multiple skills, and sometimes they might not even spawn with that skill that I mentioned. It does happen. But since I'm going to name multiple, at least, a good 50% of them should spawn exactly, how I say they're going to spawn, okay? So it gives you just a good direction. So let's go with smithing. So for smithing, if you're looking for someone who's very good at smithing, there's one called the Smith, which obviously is in the name. Then you have Coalbiter and the Ill-Starred. And also, I'm going to name all of these in the description down below, just so you can remember it, so you can write it down wherever you want. So you don't have to keep going past me talking about it. So for smithing, you have Coalbiter, the Smith, and the Ill-Starred. For scouting, you have the Grey Falcon, of the Wastes, Horsethief, and the Tracker. For tactics, you have the Grizzled, Ironeye, the Silent, and the Falcon. For roguery, you have the Leopardess, Longknife, the Mad, the Robber, the Hyena, and the Black. For charm, you have the Red, Bitterdraught, and the Fatherless. For leadership, you have the Wanderer, the Outcast, the Lucky, and the Golden. For trade, you have the Ragged, the Exile, the Spicevendor, the Swift, and Blacktooth. For steward, you have the Dispossessed, the Barrelchest, and the Cowthief. For medicine, you have the Surgeon, the Healer, and Willowbark. For engineering, you have the Engineer, the Scholar, and the Knowing. And now, let's go over, so that's pretty much all the main skills that you're looking for. Again, down below in the description, I'm just going to list them all off the same way I just read them out, okay? So you have it down there. Now, in terms of overall good fighters, the fighters that I see always spawn with above average to sometimes even amazing fighting skills, okay? Here they are. You have the Boar, you have Ironbelly, you have the Swordsman, the She-Wolf, Bloodaxe, Breakskull, and the Loud. Those typically are good to really good in terms of fighting skill. And they range between the vigor and control skills and the athletics and riding. They will just pretty much, it's a little bit random. Obviously the Swordsman, he'll usually have like a one-handed or two-handed. Bloodaxe, a little two-handed action, polearm action. It's kind of in the name, but they are still a little bit randomized. And again, there are more types of surnames that I have not listed, and there's more being added as time goes along, okay? But this should give you the right direction when you're finding the companion that you need, okay? So even if one of these don't work out, look at the other types of names. See if those work for you. And again, your campaign, they will be different from everybody else's campaign. So again, you can find really good companions that have multiple of these skills as well. So look out for those. That's my best advice to you. If you see a companion with multiple skills, either smithing, scouting, tactics, roguery, charm, leadership, trade, steward, medicine, engineering. If they have multiple of those skills, get those companions. They're very, very good and a little bit rare. Okay? But that's going to do it for me. Hopefully I kind of explained how companions really work in Bannerlord. There's no really the best. There are, you know, sometimes they spawn good, sometimes they spawn bad, and all the way in between. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I'll see you in the next one.